AI.
A new artificial intelligence tool known as ChatGPT.
The ChatGPT, a new artificial intelligence program called ChatGPT.
AI, like ChatGPT, has become an undeniable part of our daily productivity, and if you want to stay ahead in this modern world, you kind of have to use it. But did you know that it also may make you more stupid? Okay, I'm going to give you the solution on how you can use it to become the opposite, smarter. But first, we just have to talk about why this is happening. I, Francis Drake, have spent the last 8 years trying to figure out how I can take control over the technology around me and become its master instead of being its slave. And that usually pertains to consuming content on the internet mindlessly, like scrolling on TikTok, YouTube, reading endless on forums. And that pertains to our input, what we take in. But now with AI, we also have to start to guard and watch our output, because there was no possibility before to have a machine to put out your work into the world. And that's why I think this video is very important, because it is a temptation at the same as consuming endlessly. And in the fall of 2023, an experiment was done in MIT on students that were studying computer science. The researcher wanted to figure out what kind of impact using AI had on our learning process. So he separated students into 3 groups. They were going to solve a problem with a programming language they didn't know, and one group could use ChatGPT, the other could use another AI model that was a little bit weaker, and the last group had to use Google to figure out themselves how to solve the problem. So you can imagine the results. The people using the AI models went quicker to the answer and got good results. The people using Google also got good results, but they spent more time solving the tests. And then they had to do the same thing over again, but they were now in the same group. Nobody could use any kind of devices to help them solve the problems. And all of the people using ChatGPT flunked out. Everybody failed. Some of the people using the little less good AI model, they could pass the test. And almost all of the people using Google had passed the tests. So the researcher concluded from this experiment that when using an AI model, a very crucial ingredient of learning had been missing out from the people using the AI. And that was effort. And they understood that for us to learn, and this was also the hypothesis of the experiments, was that we need to exert some kind of effort for our brain pathways to grow. For us to learn and develop our brain, we have to do something hard, keep at it for a longer period of time, fail, and then try over and over again so we can strengthen the connections in our brain. But simply by getting the answer from ChatGPT, you were doing none of that. You may have thought you solved the problem, but actually they couldn't do any of the code because they hadn't ingrained that into their neural pathways. So not only couldn't they solve the question, they had spent time doing something, and the AI had actually robbed them of learning anything about that language. But I assume, like, you want to be a productive human being, you want to have the 10x output that AI can provide you with if you use it correctly. So how can we use it without degrading our critical thinking, our creative mind, and also our learning skills? I have chosen to take these solutions that were presented in this article and put it into a 3-step system, so we can separate them from each other and make it easy to remember. So the first one is to treat all tasks differently. So I'm going to use myself as an example right now, sitting here speaking to you through a camera. Me sitting here and speaking to you, articulating my thoughts, writing the scripts, editing this video, having the story around this is something that I have to do, because when I'm doing it, I'm becoming better at it. And to become someone who is big on YouTube, who can convey information, I have to be good at that. So of course I couldn't outsource me speaking just yet to an AI, but I could outsource the writing of the script, the title of this video, making of the idea of the thumbnail. All of these are some things that is very important for my future success, but I could give it to the AI. But I choose not to do that because it's my most important tasks. And then you can take something else, for example, and that's the privacy declaration in my website. This is not something that is important for my future. So it's a very low task that I could simply just ask the AI to produce, because or else I would spend a lot of time on it or had to pay someone else to do it for me. but I don't need that skill for the future. So then I can use AI to build that skill. So the first is then to treat tasks differently. Figure out what tasks are important for your work and then rank them. And when it comes to the lower task, you can totally outsource that to the ChatGPT. But when it comes to the tasks that will develop your skills and the skills you have that are necessary for your future success, that is something that you should then use the next 2 steps on that I'm going to explain to you right now. The second step is to treat short tasks differently, because short tasks are very easy to just pass up to ChatGPT and make them solve it. I understand that it's really hard for me to understand exactly what you are doing in your work, so I'm going to use the YouTube video as an example, the one you're watching right now, and I could ask ChatGPT to come up with 10 titles for this video. I could just simply type in, it will come with ideas, I could choose an idea and iterate on that without actually using my creative mind at all. So instead I've created something called the Rule of 5. It's an idea from the article that I read, but the Rule of 5 consists of you having to come up with 5 good ideas of your own. They don't have to be perfect, but they have to be, you have to try to think about it. So for this video, I would come up with 5 titles before I started to ask ChatGPT. Then I could get ChatGPT's perspective and we can mix it together and we can make the best title possible. But I have used my creative mind then, and we will have used the benefits of ChatGPT. It also makes it easier for me to come up with ideas, because I know that don't have to be perfect. I could just have flawless ideas. I can come up with many. I can post them into ChatGPT, and it can iterate and come up with new ideas. And we are then in a symbiotic relationship instead of ChatGPT doing all the hard work. That's the Rule of 5. It's important, and remember that the next time you are using ChatGPT yourself. Then you have the third step, and this pertains to more longer tasks. And this is actually something they found in the research that was helpful for the student, where they also could use ChatGPT and retain their learning. And that was that you break bigger projects into smaller tasks. So instead of having ChatGPT do the whole task for you, you can break it into smaller parts and then solve that yourself. And then it's important to flush out your entire idea. What would you have done if you didn't have the opportunity to use ChatGPT? That's what you should do here on longer, bigger tasks and step 3. So you are the one that are flushing out the entire idea, and then in the end you can iterate and build upon your ideas with ChatGPT. You could of course take it from the beginning and get a whole new perspective from the AI, but the idea is that you are going the whole way with yourself, and by that you are truly learning what you are working on in that instance. These are 3 steps that if you follow will able to make you smarter. And why I say that is because it will make it easier for you to come up with your own ideas, your own concept, perspective, information, posting that into ChatGPT, knowing that that will help you. If you didn't come up with any good information, then at least you have ChatGPT. So you start with yourself first and then you go to the AI. And that will actually make you smarter and keep the productivity of the AI itself. I'm Francis Drake. Hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.